a philosopher. I think it's not easier to prove about God. I'm a Christian. I believe in God, but I think the conversation will take a long time to try to prove you. I think,
Okay, I have
but
time.
yes, I think it's not. But if you look at the world, I think it's impossible to have everything in the right position, like sun, moon, earth, and the right position, the quantity of oxygen. I think everything's in the right position for we have life in the earth. I think somebody that you give the name of God created everything that we can we can have a life inside this, okay? Because if you stop and thinking, I think it's difficult to prove that everything that we use in a day,
Okay,
like it was created random. I
I
think it's
understand,
difficult. It's difficult to.
Oliver. Sorry for my impatience. Why I'm impatient because I heard the same things thousands of times. So maybe my answers are not, something that you're familiar with. So I have one question, okay, to start.
Okay.
According to your logic, I feel like God hates the planet Mercury.
The God hates what?
The planet Mercury, it's the
No,
first planet. You know that, right?
no, I don't agree that God hates
Why
the
I'm
planet.
saying that, like the planet Mercury has no life on it, and it's very hot when it's looking at the sun. The other part is cold, but the heat difference is so crazy, and the gravity is kind of giving a lot of troubles to Mercury. And if Mercury was in a different location, that wouldn't be the case. But it's in the exact same location so that it can burn and freeze at the same time.
Yes.
So that means God did it intentionally. And I can say it's like a hate. Why would you just create a rock and you just burn it and freeze it at the same time? And maybe for fun, because there's no use. I mean, at least we don't see any purpose behind it. We look at a planet where there's no life, and again, according to your logic, God must put that planet in that location intentionally so that it can burn and freeze. And do you accept that? And if you accept that, what is the reason behind it? Like, sure, maybe that's the case, and maybe there are reasons behind that. But if you think about everything in this way, some things don't make sense. And what I say, that's my statement, we just describe things, okay? We look at things, we say, we see the results, we see the causes, and we see the effects, right? And we say, okay, this is happening or this happened. If it was different, then we wouldn't have this, right? But now we have this because these things happened. But it doesn't say that all those things happened because someone did it. You can't claim that. Yes, things seems like they're in an order. We have physical laws, and that gives us the feeling that okay, wait, someone must, create this. I have one challenge, and I'm gonna shut up. God is not random according to your belief. I know that. God is not chaotic. Sure, you don't claim to know the essence of God. God is unknown in that level to believers. It's not even only Christianity. Muslims also claim the same thing. They don't know, like, they don't claim a form for God. It's something, but they don't know exactly. But what I can claim easily, God is not random, chaotic, because God has a meaning, God has properties, God has knowledge, power, and specific properties. And to me, looks like a universe. And because universe is not random chaotic, right? The universe has patterns. God also has patterns. Therefore, your God needs a creator according to your logic, but you don't believe that that's the case. So you are failing to follow your own rule that you created. And I am done. Thanks for being patient.
Okay, you said a lot of things very important here, but if you, I don't know, but I think you didn't read the Bible. I think so.
You're wrong. I read the
Because
Bible.
because if you read the Bible, everything that you told here about the weather and the hot, some places hot, some places colder than other, a lot of problem that you have in the planet. But when you read the Bible, you have all this explanation in the Bible.
That doesn't mean
When
those
God,
explanations are true. I read the Bible. You're wrong.
yes, but yes, it's true because when you read the Bible, when the sin, when Adam commits a sin, the planet Earth is suffering since there. You know, Bible explain for us the sin caused everything that we are
Oliver,
facing nowadays. You know.
Oliver, I'm not ignorant
Yeah.
about Bible. I read the Bible. You assume that I didn't, but I read. Okay, you were wrong
Okay.
about that.
Okay.
And
Okay.
yes, it's true that Bible has a lot of explanations for a lot of things. That's true. But if let's suppose I explain something else that doesn't go with the Bible, okay? It's an explanation. Who is right? Like my explanation or Bible's explanation? How to know which explanation is true explanation? Yeah, Bible has a lot of explanations, but who tells that they are true? All of them.
If you search
I'm
about the
searching.
Bible, yes, if you search about, okay, you did that, but a lot of person in the world trying to find in a Bible something wrong, some things that it's not match with another author in the Bible, you know, some conversation, but the study about the Bible,
Really?
no one found
I wish.
how found wrong things
Okay.
in
Bible
the
claims
Bible.
that
No,
rock badgers they chew cod, and that's false. But
I don't, yeah,
people found mistakes in the Bible.
I don't know, but
You don't know,
I
but people
think,
know the mistakes in the Bible. Maybe you should search.
but I, if you read the Bible, if you found a mistake, I'm
I told
curious
you.
to,
I told you the
I
mistake.
curious.
You're not curious. I already told you the mistake. And your job is to
What is
ask,
the mistake?
hey, which chapter, which verse? I explained to you.
But when you start to living a whole life, a holy life, you start to have a contact with the spiritual world. I think it's a very nice, how can I say, it's a very nice situation. It's a very nice experience you have in a life when we start to have relationship with God. We touch in the spiritual world, you know. I have experience with that. That's why I'm
Okay,
saying something here
false.
about it.
Here's the thing. I even copy pasted the words. This is also false. Okay. And I believe
The
too.
kingdom, the kingdom of heaven is like a mustard seed, which a man took and planted in his field. Though it is the smallest of all seeds, yet when it grows, it is the largest of garden plants. What is wrong here?
Okay, mustard seeds are not the smallest seed. That's wrong.
Nowadays,
Yeah, they
what is the
aren't.
smallest seeds? What is
Uh,
the smallest seeds nowadays?
It was orchid or I don't know.
They
Orchid.
they
Yeah, orchid.
they stronger. Strawberry, I think it's the smallest seeds nowadays. Strawberry.
Yeah, oh, I don't know.
Yeah. If you check, the strawberry is the smallest seed nowadays, if you check. But in that time, you didn't have this kind of seed, you know?
Really?
Yes, in
Okay,
that time,
no,
you didn't have this kind
no,
of seed.
no, no. It says we know of are from orchids, okay? And orchids existed at that time.
The orchid is not the smallest seed that give you fruit for us.
But it's not saying it's supposed to give fruit. There's no such a thing.
I think it doesn't make. I don't know, but when I study the Bible, in my study with I
Seemingly
know
you
that
missed
the smallest
something.
seed is strawberry was the smallest seed
Oh no.
nowadays. You know,
No, man, check it.
it's not. It's very little to. I think it's done. It's not so important. It is, but in this, God was talking about seed. He was talking about faith here. I think it's for me. It's okay here.
For you, it's okay to have a
No,
mistaken Bible?
no. Well, it's not a mistake because if you, I didn't check here, but I can Google here. I'm gonna Google here to check the this what you were saying here. Oh, wait a moment, please. You said the small seed in that time was Shia.
What about going back to the Hyrex? Because maybe in this case, you can say, well, he was only using a metaphor and he wanted people to understand and he used whatever people knew. But in the case of the Hyrex, he was given instructions on what people should eat, and that's the details are important. You can't say that that's a metaphor.
Yes, but
Help him for the
when you
argument
have
and then you debunk it. Okay. Okay, good tactics, Julian.
What did I do? What?
Do you help him about the argument? Then you just attack the argument that you helped him. So.
but see, I'm searching here in the chat GPT and I ask the smallest seed in the Jesus age, in Jesus time, and he's told me here that the seed of mustard was the smallest seed here. If you search in the GPT, I think we're gonna have the answer. You know,
Really?
I type in GPT here, and the GPT told me that the smallest seed was the mustard seed. And they give some explanation here for me. I think it's you can
ChatGPT
check
tells
there.
me orchid. I checked also in ChatGPT. It says botanically orchid.
But you say, but you must. I'm gonna type here. Wait a moment, please. But you have to mention that you want to know in that time, in that Jesus time, you know.
In Jesus' time, orchid seeds are still the smallest seeds on earth. They evolved millions of years earlier. That's what ChatGPT says. But when it comes to mustard, it says culturally, agriculturally. So mustard seeds are the smallest, but it's the one that people use in agriculture. And
That's me.
they knew about the seeds that they planted, okay? And that was the smallest one among they planted. But maybe that's why the writer said the smallest one.
Because if you read the verse here, the kingdom of heaven is like a mustard seed which a man took in the plant. I think it's okay. I think this point it's having no authority to cancel the whole story. But in my life, as I'm a Christian and I used to read the Bible, I used to pray, I have a contact with God. I'm I try to have contact with God about pray. But I have sometimes we can see the supernatural happen nowadays. I think it's boosting our faith, you know.
Okay, like where are those supernatural activities?
You can see the person be healed, some kind of sometime person have a kind of sick, like a cancer, and you can see these people will be healed after you pray for these people. So we have a lot of evidence nowadays when you use the words of God to pray for some person. You can see the manifestation of the power of the God, the God power in a day.
Okay.
So that's it's making
Okay.
me more confident, you know.
Yeah, but like you are making a case that to me it feels like
Yes,
God is a very old guy who's sleeping. To be able to communicate, to get something from him, you should just, uh, shout and say, "Hey, uh, are you there?" And then, yeah, the old guy say, "Oh, yeah, I'm here. What do you want?" "Oh, here, take it." And then he goes back to sleep. So your prayer example to me feels like that. Why God is not seeing everything and helping, before we start praying, even. So if He's gonna help in the end, then why He waits for us to pray to Him? Like, there are many people, it's not only cancer, right? Like, there are a lot of diseases. People die in agony. Like there are people, they die in a fire, or drowning is also bad. Like a lot of, ways to die. They're terrible. God see them. Why God is not
yes,
helping? And why people
yes,
should start praying, then God says, okay, I heard you. Now I'm helping.
yeah, it's true. Yes, but when we talk about the spiritual world, the God, but we have some law. But when we pray for God, we not pray for because God needs my pray, but I need to pray for God because I need the power of the God, the authority of the God. But when you
Yeah, so
say
Lever, we need, I know that, I understand that, but God doesn't see
uh,
that we need it.
yes, God does need this.
I've
We
never
need
said God needs a, hey,
we need.
Oliver, please stop. Don't say something that we didn't say here, okay? I have never said God needs that, okay?
Oh,
So
okay,
what I'm
sorry.
saying,
Sorry.
God
Oh,
doesn't see that we need it already. Like He must know that, right? If I'm in pain,
yes,
if I need help, God must know it, right?
yeah, he knows everything that is happening here in our world here.
Then why He's
But
waiting for us to start praying is my question.
yes, suppose we, as I told you, we have a law. We have a law. When you have a sin in your life, you are
We were not
you are
talking about
avoiding
sins.
God or avoiding God
Come on, we
to
didn't
make
speak
something in
about
your life.
sins. I don't understand why you started speaking about sins. We were talking about diseases.
Sin,
I understand, but that
sin.
was not something that we were mentioning. So we were talking about sick people, not sinful people.
Yes, yes, but I must say that
Do you
when you
think that
have
all
a
sick people are sinful?
what?
Do you think all sick people are sinful?
Sometimes yes, sometimes not. Depends
Depends, yeah,
on the
but
case.
but
Depends
but
on the
there are
case.
some
Depends.
sick people who are not sinful, right? Like think about babies, kids. They're also sick. They also have cancer. Do you think that they're sinful? No, right?
No, no,
And my
no, no.
question is,
It's not simple.
God doesn't see them suffering?
Oh, but we must have the awareness in our life that when the Adam committed the sin, the first sin in the Adam, everything in the world was modified. But when a child born, this child can born with a sin, but it's not a problem. It's not a God problem. It's a the root case was starting in the Adam, you know. But I think it's complicated to
It's
have
not
this kind
God's
of
problem,
conversation.
then why God helps when people pray?
Helps us when people pray, but
Yeah.
depends a lot of situation. But if you don't release a pardon for a person, you are going to avoid God to help you. If you are committing a sin every day, you are avoiding God to help you.
Only
It's you have a law. That's why it's important to read the Bible to understand the law. You know.
but you're not telling me the law. Okay, I read the Bible. I don't think that there's a law that explains my questions. So I'm saying that there are kids, okay? They're suffering. It's not about being sinful, right? So and God is helping people when they start praying according to your claim, which I don't believe. My question is, don't you believe that God is all knowing? And that if that's true, God knows that kids are also suffering, that at least that they don't have sins, right? And God doesn't care about it. God could choose to help them, but they're not, I mean, they're not saved. The parents, they are praying for their kids. You can say, oh, yeah, they are sinful. That's why God is punishing them with their kids, which doesn't seem very fair, let's say, because if the sin belongs to parents, then the parents should, pay for their sins, not the kid.
Yes, I understand you, philosopher. But you told me that you already read the Bible, but it's not sufficient only read the Bible. You have to study the Bible. You have to have a mentor to help you. I don't know, and some person to for you to discuss this kind of subject here. But
Okay. Then I suggest you,
only read the Bible is not enough. You have
yeah. Did you
to
did
understand
you did you
the whole
study
Bible. You know,
did you study Quran with the help of scholars? Did you study Quran deeply?
so I am a Christian. I
You're a
study the
Christian,
Bible.
but
I am a Christian.
Bible is not the only holy book on the planet. So if you're saying
Yes,
that, hey,
yes.
even if you read the Bible, it's not enough to understand the Bible. You should study deeper. You should find the scholars and learn from them. Okay, if that's gonna prove something,
Yes,
then you should
yes.
do the same with other religious books. Or if other religious people claim the same, then you should think that, oh, those books are also true. Sure, it doesn't
Because,
mean.
but when we are Christian, we believe in Jesus. You know, so that's why another religion have a different point of view. But in my case, as a Christian, I believe in Jesus. That's why I read the Old and New Testaments. You know, Muslim uh, believe in God but don't believe in Jesus. It's a little bit different, you know.
Okay.
But in this case of philosopher, I understand you. But one thing that I can tell you, when you start to have experience with God, you start to understand. I think is the better answer for you, because if you're here to try to explain for you. I think it's a good conversation. You explain your side, I explain my side. But my suggestion is when you have experience with God, I think it's fantastic, so that you start to give more attention to read the Bible with another point of view. So I think it's experience with God. It's the key of our conversation here.
Okay. What if that's an experience that people think about it wrongly? What if that experience is not coming from a God? What if it's just some chemicals that makes people to believe that it was a divine experience, but maybe it wasn't? How can you solve the problem of testing whether the experience has a supernatural cause or just natural causes like your brain, your chemicals, experience, I mean, other things, but natural. So, how do you solve this problem? Do you have any methodology? Because I have this problem with Hindu people also. They tell me to meditate, and I ask them same question. They don't have any good answer. Like they don't know how to differentiate whether it's their brain creating the experience or really there is something outside and they're connecting to that thing. They don't have any method to tell me the difference. And I want to know, do you have a method to understand the difference?
Okay. I told you that I have experience with the supernatural because I saw people be healed from people was sick and was healed when you say for her be healed in name of Jesus, and the people was healed is instantaneously. I have this kind of experience. I saw I saw and I have experience to cast out the demon from a person. I saw this and I have this experience by myself to cast out the demon from a person. So when you have this kind of experience, I think you have more faith in God.
I see, but still, what you tell me is not something that we can verify easily. You're not telling me,
Yes,
like,
yes,
what
yes,
is the method? You seemingly don't have a method. Yeah, you have experience. I believe in that. Okay. You had some experience. You had some people who had some problems who didn't seem normal. I believe in that. Definitely, I believe in that. Okay. I trust your words. But the part that I don't trust, the ability to understand that whether it's something supernatural or something just natural, because people have mental diseases also. And again, people can feel things, and our brains are so powerful machines that can generate things. Like
yes,
imagine your dreams, right? You see a lot of things which are not possible in your dreams. You can't say, oh, it's real. Like if you start flying in your dream, when you wake up, you don't think that you're a bird, right? You don't try to
yes,
fly or jump from the building. You know
yeah,
that it's not real, at least it doesn't work in this reality. So, but that proves us that, oh, that's a very powerful machine. Look, how
yes,
much, how something so vivid that it can create. It's so real, right? Do you feel it? But you realize that no, it's just a combination of your memories or your subconscious. So we have other explanations for that, but we don't explain it through soul. We don't explain it through some alien sending signals to our brain, right? We don't explain that in that way. So what I'm trying to say, yeah, like you may have experiences, and I believe in that, but the problem is how to know that that's something supernatural. And there should be, ways to understand the difference.
so I agree with you. I understand your points, but as I told you, when you really start to study the Bible in a deep study, and you start to have a moment of pray,
I see.
stop to have a bad life, to make something wrong, to commit sin. You start to start to listen God. We start to manifest the power of God in a place you are. As I told you, I'm not was sleeping. I was awaking, and I see a lot of things happen. People be healed, people be transformed his life. I saw a lot of things, but I started to see this kind of things after I really have time with God, study the Bible, and start to use the Bible as a manual in my life. To start to use the Bible as a principle in my life. Everything's changed.
Yeah,
I have this thing in my
that's
life.
another red flag, Oliver. When people go deep in their beliefs, they tend to believe in things more easily. So, for example, if you didn't study, if you were not into Christianity, maybe if you had seen someone behaving in a very weird way, maybe you wouldn't think that the guy has been possessed by demons. You could say, hey, probably like he has some mental problems. Maybe you cannot explain, you don't have, the expertise, but you could say, yeah, it's a mental disease. But now you believe that no, it's not a mental disease, it's a possession. and and I see the same thing in other religions. Like, if people are religious, if they deeply believe in things, they can convince themselves for something probably not real. I know people who claim to be prophets. They claim to speak to God. Do you think that there are other prophets after Jesus? And I think you can easily say, oh, no, 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 no. Probably that person has been possessed by demons. That's a really good cop out when you hear such kind of stories, because you don't want to accept that, if experience X exists, therefore it's true. You don't want to accept that. But in your religion, you accept. You accept it. Uh, but when it comes to other religions, you say, oh, no, no, it's just work of demons. And that's not consistency. It's not consistent. And
Yes.
I hope Martin doesn't come at this time because I'm tired.
I knew a guy a long time ago. It's a very clever guy, and I was watching him in the YouTube. It's a Brazilian guy in YouTube, and he was a scientist, and he was a scientist for a long time. He gave he gave a class in the a lot university in Brazil, in the United States. He was a philosopher too, and he studied a lot as a scientist, and he was he got a time, he got a point in his life. He told us was so difficult. He had to have more faith, have to have necessary to have more faith to be an atheist in his case, instead to be a Christian. After that, he became a Christian because he tried to prove that God didn't exist for a long time. He go deep trying, but he arrived in a point that he looked inside and said, "It's impossible to prove everything that I saw here." I think
Yeah, yeah.
have a creator,
I think
have a creator.
he was not a critical scientist. Okay, if he knew the claims of God that comes from people, he even wouldn't try to, debunk, disprove those claims, since he was so obsessed with, disproving gods. That shows that there was a problem with his. Okay, he was obsessed with the topic. He was trying to disprove something, And again, obsessions can dilute your mind and can, prevent your reasoning. So maybe that was the case for that scientist YouTuber.
Trying to looking for the guy here. He has an interview with a Jewish people in English here.
Hmm.
I think he's.
But again,
if
there
I
are
find that,
unfalsifiable God claims, and it's futile to spend your time to disprove such gods. So that tells me something about him, okay?
hello, sir. I gotta go at the moment. Okay, I'm going to follow you
Okay.
because I think the conversation was very nice. I think you should
I'm
have
happy.
another conversation in the future. I can bring you here more interesting topic here, and you too. I think you have opportunity to have a better more conversation. I think so. I think it's important to this kind of conversation here. You show me your side. I show my side. I think it's very important.
I'm happy that you enjoyed, and I hope it was helpful. It doesn't have to be
Okay.
helpful, even if it's enjoyable.
Yes.
That's good.
Yes.
Yeah, thanks for joining,
But
Oliver. Thanks for sharing
okay.
your opinions.
Okay. See you.
Bye bye. Take care.
Bye bye.